we believe things about ourselves that aren't true. The rabbit telling you lies about yourself runs in a straight line. The rabbit carrying the truth, it feels like that sucker is all over the place, right?
And I think people will be more and more persecuted for their belief in Christ.
Oh, yeah.
And for upholding truth.
And it's like you've gotta accept the truth that God says is true. It's true because he says it's true. You don't have to question, but why do I deserve this? Or why? No. It's because the Savior says, I said so just take it and enjoy it. All right, guys, welcome back. This is the one that I've been looking forward to when we had the idea to start Relentless Warrior Podcast. This was absolutely the first guest or conversation that I envisioned having. We are super, super fortunate to have one of my very best friends in the world, Scott Law, sit down with us tonight. You guys are in for a treat, but also in for a remarkably unique conversation as opposed to the ones that we usually have here on the podcast. We're going to talk preps. We're going to talk preparation and defense a bit, but we're gonna dive into some deeper topics as well. I hope you guys enjoy it. But I think it is something that really does sum up the heart of those of us who are in this community, who are thinking about these types of things, the heart that we're chasing. And so I'm glad you're here and enjoy what to me has already been a profoundly impactful conversation, and hope it is for you guys. Love you. All right. So this is the one. This is the one I've been the most excited about. It was the one I was trying to have as the first guest. You were the person I wanted, but the way it worked out with Clay, it was perfect. It was good.
I'm just glad to be here.
Well,
so, yeah, see where this goes.
I'm excited about it, right. This is the one that I think is the most open-ended and could take us everywhere. Abby, it was funny, Abby, when I left, she was like, so what time do you think you'll be home?
Right.
And I was like,
right.
Yeah, I have no idea. I was like, it might be an hour, and then who knows? You know, it might be
a
or whatever.
couple episodes.
Yeah, right. So I'm really excited. You and I, we know, like, we spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
So to preface, we share some pretty similar beliefs.
Sure.
Obviously,
first, how do we know each other? I think this is important context here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So
Go.
you shoot.
Well, for me,
Yeah.
you know, I knew you when I started coaching with Salado Youth Football. I knew there was this guy who runs the show who was just this big giant over here making things happen. And I was probably at one of the lowest points in my life. I was remarkably out of shape, and just struggling with everything. And then you and Dwayne, right? Look over and people
Dwayne's a
who
monster.
he is.
Yeah.
Right. And so I look over there and in maybe a moment of inspiration, I was like, hey, you guys obviously have it together. I need some help. And immediately, you were like one of the most gracious, just come here, man. And just, I don't even know how to say it. You know how I struggle with receiving.
Sure.
Right.
You never want to feel like you're imposing.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And so you were remarkably gracious and welcoming and offered to say, hey, let's lift. And I was like, man, for me to lift, we've got to lift at like 4:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I would never ask you to do that. And you were like, no, let's do it. And I was like, no, really? And you were like, no, come tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that was 3 years ago.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was about 2.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah. And I mean, we've lifted the majority of most weeks since then, right? Spent at least that part of the morning together. And then folks who listen to the podcast, they don't know a whole lot, but they know that I've walked through some pretty rough times.
Sure.
And you absolutely have walked through those with me, but also Jess has walked through those with Abby, and just divinely appointed relationship, and in a unique way that I don't experience very
So,
often.
okay, so people are going to want to know. So, what did you start at? Where are you currently at? Weight,
Oh,
body
from a physical
composition, all that
standpoint?
stuff.
Oh
Oh yeah, oh
gosh,
yeah.
man. So yeah, what did I start at? I think right before we started lifting, I did a jujitsu competition
Hmm.
at I was probably 268,
Yep.
268 pounds. So big that the only person large enough to roll with me was, I want to get it right. I don't want to exaggerate, but he was 6'4", and I think he was 345 pounds. Uh, and so we rolled decent. And then at the end, I was like, "You're really big, bro," and I just gassed out, and at that point, I was like, "Okay, this is terrible.
Sure,
This has
sure.
to stop." So now,
Yeah, you're
I walk around right at
running what?
225 to 230.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and honestly, it's probably the best shape I've ever been in.
yeah, yeah.
When I got out of the army, I was 165 pounds,
Okay.
and so it's tough to say I was in the best shape ever when I was a runt and a half. And so yeah, that's where I'm at, and
Okay.
but what it's been for me is, and I know we mess around, we call the gym the lab,
Yep.
but that work, putting in that physical work, has sort of really just been a backdrop
Right.
for all of the other work and conversations and
Exactly.
that you and I've kind of engaged in
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah.
And
We
and
call it the lab, yeah, because you get to create something new
yeah,
of yourself.
absolutely.
And half the time, I think the conversations are, well, we talk some about, hey, your lift and your diet and your
Sure.
all this stuff, and but it always goes to faith,
Mhm.
family, beliefs,
Yep.
yeah,
Absolutely.
leadership, everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
And
my
and
favorite time of the day, man.
yeah.
Spending that with you.
And when I miss it, it irks me.
Sure.
So folks who have heard this, they don't know that I struggle to sleep sometimes.
Mm,
And so when in the mornings when my alarm goes off and I'm like, "Man, I can't make it." Yeah, it hits me all day long because I'm
yeah.
like, "Man, I miss." It's like missing breakfast. It's like,
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, it's one of my favorite times too. And you're absolutely right. The lifts are secondary to the other work,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so we've covered a huge gambit
Yeah.
of topics and things like that. I think we've had opportunity to sort of collaborate and pour into other guys,
Right.
that we've been able to strategize about, at
Right.
those times. Um, but one of the things that is a common theme, that I think was also another platform to sort of launch from, is we both share a relatively, um, I don't even know how to say it, because if I s it I'm very optimistic, but
Hmm.
my optimism comes from my faith.
Hmm.
I'm relatively pessimistic when I look at humanity and society and things
Sure.
like that, right? And
Sure.
so one of those things is like, hey, we should probably get ourselves ready for
Sure.
hard times.
Sure.
And we've talked the quote to death. Everyone says it, what good times make soft men make hard times make strong men, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're on the negative
Yes.
arc there. So I'll put it to you sort of in a concise way. What from a preparedness mindset in terms of, hey, I want to make sure I'm squared away to take care of my family. Like if someone new to the whole idea was like, what are you preparing for?
Right.
How would you answer
Right.
that?
Oh man, I think my prep over the years has changed and my motivations for prep over
Hmm.
the years has changed,
Okay.
especially as I've matured, right? So it's so easy to be temporally prepared
Yeah.
because then you can check the box. Like, do I got food? Check.
Mhm.
Do I got water? Check. And you have all these things, but and for whatever would, collapse or whatever people think,
Right.
so
Right.
something like this. Um, and so that's easy. That's the easy part.
Right.
And so a lot of people will go, I just got to get this. And they're really focused on, if I get canned food, stored food,
Mm,
all the stuff, then I'm okay.
right.
And more as I see, like, I doubt it's going to be like the flip of a switch
Sure.
as this happens,
Right.
as society degrades and we
Mhm.
just reach harder and harder times. If it gets so bad, it's like no matter what, or you can't prep for
Can't prepare
for
for the
for a nuke, I
right.
guess, or whatever,
Right.
right?
Right.
So yeah, you just can't.
Right.
But really, the part that I've more and more focused on is how am I going to prep my mentality,
Yeah.
my spirituality above all else. Is
Mhm.
what am I prepared for? Because that day could come,
Yeah.
tonight, tomorrow, like whatever, hit by a
Absolutely.
bus.
Right.
And that's something you can't really quantify. You
Yeah.
can't go, okay, I got a year's supply of food.
I got that on lock. I can check
Right, right,
that
right.
box.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
I have hit humility,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right, I've got it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm really good at it.
So yeah,
Right.
there's all those things, but what's my relationship like with my Savior?
Mhm.
How is my relationship with my wife, my family? How am I preparing my kids to go on into the world
Yep.
and fight,
Yep.
their battles against temptation, against whatever's out there? Are they going to lead and be
Yeah.
stand up people for righteousness and
Yeah.
others who
And
need
other
help,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I think that really that says it well because I was that. Like, I was very much like, "Okay, I gotta lock that year's supply of food down for me and mine, and I've
Right.
gotta lock my how much ammo do I have, and do it all of these things." I was very much on the let me check the boxes and I think that is maybe for some, that might be, like, the gateway to get into the mindset. For me, I
Yeah.
felt like I was being naive a little bit. I was like, "Oh, shoot, I'm missing it."
Yep.
Because the values and the morality of surviving whatever hard times look like,
Right.
right? I tend to agree with you. I don't necessarily think it'll be a flip of a switch, right? And but I was preparing as though um it may not be a flip of a switch, but at some point it's going to be a full on
Right.
collapse.
Right.
What am I doing investing in myself and my sons and my wife and in others to what if it's not that? What
Right.
if it's really just things just continue to get gross
Mhm.
and you can't point to a moment where everything like where the bottom fell out,
Right.
but it's like, "Ooh, we gotta be a little we have to be mindful of what's going on." And I think that's been for me part of some of our best conversations is how do I invest in my relationship with my wife in a way um, that's one that can survive those hard times
Right.
of whatever those look like, but two, how do I invest in my wife in a way that's eternal?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And looking at our relationship through that lens has really just completely opened my perspective about what it means for she and I, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, now I've got that, or I've got an idea of I'm working towards.
Mhm.
Now it's okay. How do we invest in others and help others get to a place where they can have that same sense of security and peace and things like that?
Okay.
And so, eh, what's the moral wrestling match with that, right?
Mhm.
I talk about it a lot, but I'd love to hear yours or where you are today because it may
Mhm.
evolve, may
Mhm.
change
Mhm.
tomorrow, right?
Sure.
For me, I have, and in some of the trainings that I've done, I talk about I have a relatively strong definition of what my violence threshold is,
Right.
right? When it comes to defending my family, when it comes to defending myself, like I know where my line is with regards to perpetrating violence and feeling justified in doing so,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So in thinking about things getting worse and things like that,
Mhm.
what's been your sort of internal compass
Yep.
for your threshold of violence?
Right. No, it's a great question.
Yeah.
I I'd always wanted to be fully prepared at all times,
Mhm.
right? And whatever the situation was,
Sure.
public, to protect my family at night, and then the focus has then been as my kids have gotten older, I need to
Right.
help them to be in the same way. It's kind of extended a little bit more even to community, to where
Mhm.
people, friends, where we have each other's backs, and from loaning a cup of flour,
Mhm.
borrowing some eggs,
Right.
to even like, hey, if the lights go out,
Mhm.
what are we going to do? What was very eye opening for me was a few years ago when we had the freeze here in Texas.
Yeah.
I thought I was pretty dialed in. I thought I was pretty prepared,
Yeah.
and but I quickly learned that I wasn't prepared for a freeze, and
Right.
our animals, all their troughs froze over,
Right.
and there were people in need,
Yeah.
and I didn't have a vehicle that did well
Mhm.
on ice,
Yeah.
and so I couldn't really help anybody,
Yeah.
and I just feel that that's my responsibility.
Yeah.
Is to help others, is to have my ducks in a row so that I can then give help.
Yep.
And so to your point though, like whether that's physical preparedness or security, that's something that, I want to be as proficient as I need to be.
Right.
And so, that's a big area where I've worked hard to get that way.
But what the answer you just gave to that question, Clay Martin, he very much considers himself a part of our community.
Oh, cool.
We had a pretty deep conversation, very similarly to this, after our podcast when he and I hung out and spent hours visiting.
Yeah. Clay would be welcome.
Absolutely, wouldn't he though? Wouldn't he though? But we had a really good conversation, and I felt like it was super insightful.
Yeah.
I made a statement where I was talking about he and I sort of feel like my identity as a grunt. One, I relish that identity.
Sure.
And so does Clay.
Yeah.
But as we were talking about our community, he and I both had a word to describe you, and it was the same word.
Okay.
And it was because I said grunt for myself, and he said, yeah. He said, that's us. We're the jump down in the mud thing. Scott is a builder. Scott is the guy bringing people together. Scott is the guy whose perspective is, are we taking care of people? Do we have systems in place to ride this out?
Sure.
And it was, in that moment, it was remarkably profound. But your answer, when I say, what's your threshold for violence? And it's like, how can I help people?
Yeah.
It's like, that's exactly like it matches that. Right. And I think it takes, when it comes to building community, it takes that.
Yeah.
That's been something in thinking about investing in my children. I would be doing them a huge disservice if I created little clones of me.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because
Awesome.
we don't need 3 of me
right
in our family unit. We need me, and we need CJ, and we need Wyatt, and we need Abby, and we need them at the sharpest, strongest, most ready version of who God created them to be.
Right.
And so in thinking of our kind of community and the folks who, like, it's like that. Like, it's not about becoming all alike.
Right. No.
Because we would have huge holes in our preps. I think you said it. There will always be holes in preps, right? You can never prepare for the thing you didn't think of, right?
Yeah.
But it's accentuating the strengths that I believe are placed in others by God.
Yeah.
Trying to help them find those and help them build on those rather than help them be more like you or be more like me or whatever. We're talk about not having the humility box checked.
Right.
We're hurting people, I think.
Yeah.
If we're not,
I would agree,
encouraging them to be more the best version of themselves rather than be more like this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about that is I really feel very called to help people to discover and to develop their personal gifts, their spiritual gifts that they're given. Yeah. Everyone has unique ones, right?
Right.
And a way to relate this that I found very profound was Gallup does those personality assessments, right? Where you rank, I think it's 1 through 32. I forget. I could be way off. But you like your top 5, right? And sometimes those will shift around a little bit as life goes on. And so there's all of these different traits. And so we each have unique ones. And when you build a team, you want the various perspectives.
Yeah.
What's fascinating to me is that, you put them together, you hope to develop almost like a 360 view.
Yeah.
Right. But God has that 360 view.
Right.
So it's just amazing to see that he has all those traits. He has all those things. But we can work together with others and our brothers and sisters to get that.
So you brought it up, right? So I've got it. If my wife would be so mad at me if I didn't talk about what I use all the time with leading people and building teams. I use what we call the compass activity.
Cool.
Okay. And it's really about building teams and and making sure you have skill sets that complement each other, right? So very quickly, I'll give it to you. Your Northie is the person who's like, see a problem, attack the problem. There's a problem. If I hit it in the face really hard, we'll solve the problem and we can keep marching on, right? The opposite, the Southie, is the person who says, have we thought about everyone's feelings first? Have we considered how our actions, our decisions are going to affect everyone in the group? Your Eastie is the person who naturally gravitates towards the 30,000-foot view, right? Looking down the road. And your Westie, being the opposite of that, is your checklist, detail-oriented, in the moment person, right? It's a relatively simple
great
way and I'll usually have people self-assess. And when we get a little deeper into it, there's like 10 or 12 descriptors for each direction.
Sure.
And then you tell them, which one are you? Invariably, they never pick a single direction. They say, I'm a northeasty, or I'm a northwesty, or a whatever, right? Yeah. And when you make them, but in like at night when you fall into bed, who are you? And sooner or later they'll come with it and they'll tell you who they are. And then it's like, okay, cool. Which one of those now do you want to get better at? Right. And that's like, then now you can really kind of get to know folks and things like that. And so, so yeah, it's that same type of deal where it's like, okay, if you have a room and we hang out with Phil, right? It was my favorite. One of my favorite stories of us is we were pretty early in our relationship. We're going to go to breakfast. Okay. Yeah. Remember this?
Yes, I do.
And we go get gas. We stop at the Sefco. Yep. And it's Phil New and you and me. And I'd been working.
Phil's what, 6'5", 70.
Right.
Okay.
And
big dude.
Rocked up, right? Yeah. And I think you were very close to show prep.
Yep, that's right.
And I had made a little bit of progress, right? We get out of the truck and there's a guy working there and he comes up and the question was so perfect. He's like, what are y'all? And I just started laughing. I was like, maybe you mean them. He's like, no, all y'all. What are y'all? Yeah. Like we were the stunt team or the whatever. And it was super funny to me because if you think about it, let's say it's, you're 6'2", 6'3", right? He's a big guy. Yep. I'll never be tall, but get a little size. Yet 3 guys like that. And if we're all 3 Northies, we're all 3 see a problem, hit a problem. We'll fix the damage that we do to others later. Sure. How can you ever be welcoming, right, and bring people in, right? And so my natural years ago when I started with this exercise was Northie. Okay. Right. I was like, I see a problem, go fix a problem. Sure. Don't need time to make a decision. I can see it. I see where I want to go. Let's just do that. Right. Yeah. So I worked really hard to counterbalance that with some other things. Right. You mentioned this when we first started working out together, was one of your fears about getting bigger, was that others would feel that you're not approachable. Correct. Why was that such a thing for you?
I think it was important to me. I think one of the motivations that I have, especially working with young men, whether it's at the Brotherhood Academy, my own kids, young men at church, but also Soleto Youth Football.
Absolutely.
Like it's to be big enough where they're like, oh wow, that guy, I'm gonna listen to this guy.
Sure.
Get some, because young man, I know when I was a young man,
matters.
It was like, oh yeah, that guy's in shape.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to listen to what he has to say.
Right.
And I wanted to have inroads there, but not be unapproachable to where the moms are like, oh yeah, run away from that guy.
Yeah,
all
right.
He does is you looking at him, he smells bad.
Yeah, right.
Like, he's so big.
Right.
And yeah, just unapproachable. I did not want to lose that side of me.
So I'm gonna push a little bit.
Yeah.
Influence.
Yeah.
Like because we're burgeoning into talking about family, and I want to spend some time talking about Brotherhood Academy,
sure.
and I want you to tell about your family, and you got a few kids.
I do.
And like I want to hear about that, right? But for me, and I've told you this, in ways that I've never met someone else, you influence people profoundly. I think everywhere you go. Is that something you've worked to develop? Is that something that was instilled in you by your faith early on? Is it a combination of all of it? Have you always had that gift for influencing others, or is that something where, as you've sort of progressed, and in preparedness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Preparedness really lends itself pretty easily to our conversations about progression.
Sure.
So is it something that as you've progressed, it's become more of a gift, or is that something that's sort of always been there?
No, I think deep down, it's always been something that I've been blessed with.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of my spiritual gifts that I have to influence people and to kind of assess pretty quickly, to discern, are they, what's their pain?
Yeah.
Or what do they have? Are they a good person? Are they, and I think it takes one to know one.
Uh-huh. Wow.
So me having to work through stuff in my life, whether it was self-inflicted or just the way that I, the sauce I was marinated in,
Mm-hmm.
just whatever however it came to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for it.
Sure.
Because I was able to get through and recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
And so to understand how that felt, and that pain I had as a young man until even a few years ago, to go, oh, I don't want to live that way. I want to live in a different way.
Yeah.
And I just noticed I was really going to lean into what I'd been blessed with,
Mm-hmm.
and just felt, okay, I can bless others this way. And that's just something that I've found a lot of fulfillment in,
Yeah.
and a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And that connection with other people.
Right.
And it's very emotional, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love it.
It really is.
And yeah.
Well, I want to say two things about that. Early on, when I was coaching Toledo youth football and really didn't know you well at all, one of our dads was a guy who was super squared away. And I just met him. I didn't know his kid before. The dad was a super squared away guy and not here from Texas. Okay. And but I really enjoyed talking to him, and he helped out, and then he went down and he was helping out coach the younger kids, but he would come help us out, and really just a good-hearted guy. Yeah. And I remember one day after practice, we were kind of yucking it up and stuff, and I asked him where he's from, and I don't even remember. I feel bad about that. And I'll leave his name for another day.
Okay.
But I asked him, I was like, so what brought you guys here to Texas? And he was like, oh, that's easy. Scott. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I wanted to be around that guy. He was like, I wanted to learn from him. I wanted to be around that guy. And I was like, not very often do two 45-year-old dudes standing at a football practice in 100-degree heat open up that with that much vulnerability,
right,
and say, I moved across the country because I wanted to be mentored by that guy, right? Wow. So that was huge for. I was like, okay, wow, that guy's he really got something, right? And then, and I won't, I haven't, and I won't shared any of the details, but you've seen me at my very lowest.
Sure.
Definitely the hardest experience that I've ever walked through. I've walked through since we became friends. And there's one day in that experience that I equate to, it was a harder day than the day my father died. And 98% of that remarkably terrible time was self-inflicted. Right. And so I think you're right. I think a lot of that is just, we believe things about ourselves that aren't true. We and then we just follow. It's really easy to follow that rabbit. That rabbit runs in a straight line. Oh, yeah. The rabbit telling you lies about yourself runs in a straight line. Oh, yeah. The rabbit carrying the truth, it feels like that sucker is all over the place, right? You got to dig to find him, right? Yeah. And so having come out of that really, really well.
Absolutely.
And well, with the help of people who there were some people who I'd known a long time in my life who, because I was making these decisions that they didn't agree with, sort of evaporated. Right. And then there was the guy that knew all of the stuff that I was doing wrong and all of the bad decisions that I was making, and every day was like, hey man, love you. I'm here for you. That was profound for me.
Me too.
What it did, and Abby and I had a conversation about just how the time I've walked through. We had a conversation 2 days ago, I think, that the rebound has been really fast, like really gotten to a good place really quickly.
Yeah.
And we were actually talking to a counselor, because gosh, I definitely needed that. I didn't know I needed that.
Yeah.
But we were talking to a counselor, and the desire then to have gone through really hard times, have had people support you and love you through that, and show a pretty clear picture of God's love to you through that. And then you start feeling like you're in a really good place, maybe a better place than you've been.
Right.
The desire then to pour that into others is a great feeling.
Isn't it?
It's a great feeling.
Yeah, there's like one of my favorite scriptures is where much is given, much is required. Right. I love the vagueness of that scripture. Like you can take that from any angle of where much is given, to whom,
right?
By whom?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then much is required to do what?
Yeah.
Like so many things. Right?
Yeah.
You could come from so many different angles. Where it's like somebody who's trying really hard to giving a lot.
Right.
Much is required to then what? To help them, to meet them, to to pick them up, to move them along. Or much is given to me, where I've been blessed. Much is required to what? To recognize it, to do more, to help others.
Yeah.
To pay it forward, to be grateful.
Yeah.
To to discover more. Like there's so many things. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, such profound scripture.
Yeah.
From our Savior. I often think, and I feel a debt of gratitude and a debt of obligation at all times.
Sure.
To go, okay.
Yeah.
I recognize what I've been given, and what do I now need to give? What do I need to do? What would you have me do?
Right. Well, I love what you said about vagueness, because I think up until recently, I always made a linear correlation with that scripture.
Yeah.
Right. Where if what I thought about I was given, whether it be the ability to coach, the ability to have somewhat of an influence on kids or whatever, whatever was given to me, what was expected would be a linear progression from what was given to me. And I feel like I missed the mark on that remarkably, right? Where maybe it's linear,
sure,
right?
Yeah,
maybe it's
absolutely.
maybe
It's one
it
of the
could
ways.
be linear, right? But also maybe it's not linear at all.
Right.
Maybe it's not linear at all. And I think a lot of people use that scripture and talk about finances.
Sure.
Right. And so someone who's been blessed financially, the linear progression is, are they blessing or giving financially to others? Right.
Sure.
Whereas again, maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's not at all. Maybe it's being gracious and grateful enough to say, okay, God, I want to really hear you. And what would you have me do? Not, okay, I can see how I can do this, or I can see how I can do that, so I'm going to do that.
Right.
Now, what would you have me do?
Yeah.
And it could be that you're pouring into people in a completely different way.
Right.
Right.
It's not as easy as tithing. Right.
Right. Exactly.
So it's not just
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You got this.
I did that. Check. Right.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. No. I think it's a lot more profound, complex, and even more blessings lie ahead. So it's just like be returned even more.
Yeah.
The cup packed down, overflowing. To now what?
Yeah.
You have more.
Oh man. And that's cool. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's like this little project that I've mentioned to you.
Yes.
As I had said, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this. I didn't understand how remarkably large of an undertaking it was going to be. Right.
Sure.
I was like, oh, wow. And I remember like the first night that I was having trouble sleeping.
Sure.
And I'm working on this project. And I was like, this is going to take 10,000 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, am I really sure? And I was pretty early. Like, I'm still pretty early. I was like, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's that idea of no, I've been given a lot. I've been blessed a whole lot.
Yeah.
And a little bit of work and effort and get investment of time and things like that. Don't even scratch the surface on me.
Yeah.
You know, appropriately being grateful.
Or much is given. Yeah.
Much is
experience.
Given. Yeah.
Hardship, like whatever it is.
Right.
You're required then to, you know, in what way can you bless others?
Say it one more time though. Hold on. I don't want to go over that.
Yeah.
You said where much is given.
Yeah.
And you said the word hardship.
Sure.
Talk to me about looking at those hardships that we all look back on through the lens of those were a blessing.
Yeah.
To help us get through.
Yeah. Okay. It's one of my favorite exercises is to make a failure resume. Is to sit down and go, okay, I'm going to make a failure resume.
Yeah.
And you sit down and you write down all the ways that you failed. And you write those, okay, I did this.
Right.
I did this. This didn't work.
Yeah.
This didn't work. You don't want to end there though.
Right.
But you want to then take that and go, oh, okay, what was the outcome and how did I grow from that?
What I learned.
Who did I become because of this?
Yeah.
You know, to keep putting one foot in front of the other, much like you.
Yeah.
You know, when you were at some of your lowest points.
Yeah.
All you can do is just, okay, I'm just going to take a step or two today, whatever I can get.
Yeah.
You know, to get to that next piece. And in faith, you know, where you just don't know. The next step will be revealed unto you. Just take one step.
Take one.
Just go. And soon, you know, a little light shows and you get to where you're going. But yeah, failure resume is a great way to look back and go, actually, that was all a blessing.
Yeah.
It was all a blessing.
Oh.
And you know, you can take it so cheesy as the Garth Brooks song Unanswered Prayers. You know, if you really wanted to go that way.
Yeah, right.
It's also another way to say that.
It is.
Where I think, oh goodness, if I would have been blessed with what I prayed for, my life would be so small, a fraction.
Absolutely.
Of what,
oh my gosh, yeah.
You know, just instead of trusting in the Lord of what He has in store for us, and to have faith that this is for my good, it's for my benefit, and to have the humility to go, okay, I'm going to learn from this. What do I do?
So, man, every time we talk, like there's just a challenge in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
To think about that from myself, so often. I had amazing parents, but amazing, hardworking parents love me. We also face a lot of hardship.
Right.
So often I've looked back and said, thank you for my parents who loved me through these hard times. Or I've looked back and been like, hey, thank you for squaring me away enough to be able to walk through that. I think I've come to a place where I've been grateful, but I don't think I've ever expressed to God, thank you that I moved 23 times in 21 years.
Right.
Thank you that I lived at Southgate Mobile Home Park and all of the lessons that walking from the school bus to the house taught me. Right.
Oh, goodness. Oh, look at who it's made you.
Right. And I'm only right now in this conversation going, it was a huge blessing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was a huge blessing.
Look at the people that you were able to connect with and empathize with that no one else can or does, because you get it. You get it.
And I think that's true for all of us.
Right.
I think that's a huge part of the beauty of God's plan.
Yep.
Is whatever those unique circumstances are, they weren't accidental.
No.
And if you choose to look at them through the Savior's eyes, they gave you the tools to bless certain people in a way that only you can.
Right.
What a humbling thought.
Yeah.
To think someone as insignificant as me, there's a web of people that God intended me specifically to bless, that God intended you specifically to bless, whether it was your state championship basketball team in high school, right? You talk about the work ethic that you guys were focused on So tell us a little bit. Tell me a little bit. Right.
I think putting a point on the failure resume,
right.
like you're either going to have a victim mentality and
right.
you're just going to sit in it.
Right.
And if you do, you probably won't do the exercise anyways.
right.
Or you're going to end up coming away with a championship mentality you probably already have because you've had to work through all this where you own that.
Yeah.
And that just happened. That was just something. Look at who I've been blessed to become because of these things.
Yeah.
And so it's a huge benefit.
It is. And like, so because I know you typically don't undefeated senior year basketball season, right?
Yeah.
What was the ethos of your team? Like what were you about?
It was great. Just a fairy tale season. Like honestly.
Right.
We were most of us were 6'1", 6'2",
okay,
white guys.
Yeah.
Not really athletic at all compared to others.
Yeah.
Not that fast.
Okay.
But we were hard nosed. And we believed in team mentality of team defense.
Okay.
And making the extra pass, very selfless, the extra pass. And we could hit an open shot.
Okay.
And that would be it. So we would just outwork people. And that was the difference.
Yeah.
And so I think we had 4 guys who averaged like 10.4 points a game.
Great.
And so they had to guard.
Wow. Yeah.
They had to guard all of us because each night, we played, one of us would go for 20 or 22.
Sure.
And the others one might have 12, 13, 14. The others would have 6, 7.
Sure.
And it would just go like that.
And whose night it was, whoever
was open.
Right. Okay.
It's what it was. It wasn't somebody going, it's my night.
Yeah.
It was just whoever was open got the ball. And I get chills about it.
Yeah.
It was just dreamy. But yeah, we ended up going undefeated. Arizona, 6A.
Love it.
And
state champs. So I think, the reason I asked that question and made you tell the story is because I think a lot of people would go, wow, Lord, thank you that I got to experience that.
Yeah.
Thank you that I got to have a state championship. Thank you that I, versus seeing all of the ways and the lessons and the work ethic and the team dynamic and the selflessness that you talk about, how all of those things continue to translate every day.
Sure.
To me. Like it seems to me like those things translate every single day.
Yeah.
Right. So
motivations are different, I would say.
Sure.
That's been a big one, right? Over the years. Sure. That's part of the maturing process.
Right.
I think a lot that motivated me early on for sure was a fear of failure, insecurity, having to prove my own self-worth, just deep insecurity and trying to overachieve in order to feel value.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of that was what just prodded me along for many, many, many years.
What flipped the switch?
I hit a low point where it was like no amount of success or money or kids or whatever it would be, was enough. And I realized, and my oldest daughter was getting ready to leave the house, and she was graduating early from high school, and it hit me. I was working somewhere, and I think I was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I think, working in an ortho clinic there, covering there. And I'm staying in some Holiday Inn. I couldn't sleep real well. And there was I love Neil Young. And so I'm listening to a song called Dreamin' Man. It's a great song.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I happened to wake up at that time, or I couldn't sleep or whatever. And it just hit me, and I was like, is this really how I'm going to live the rest of my life? And what have I prepared her? What have I taught her? And now she's going to go on damaged, because of all my insecurities that I've just imprinted on her for the last 16, 17 years. And I just realized I've got to change this. I've got to figure this out and change and hopefully try and bring her along, in some way.
Right.
And hope she forgives me someday.
Wow.
And so that was a big piece of me hitting there and then really really then having to identify where my pain was, climb up into that cave, fight the dragons in there, and then bring it out to share with the world.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Which I think, because he loves us, God makes us do that.
Right.
If we avoid it, sooner or later, you're going to run headlong into it, and you're going to have to fight it.
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't cherish the gift if you didn't have
that's
to work
right.
for it.
Yeah. And two things, sidebar, your oldest, and I've said this to you many times, is one of the most impressive kids I've ever met.
Yeah.
Right? Like
she is. She's amazing.
Grown-ups, if you ever want to be inspired, find Mimi Law and just have a conversation. Okay. But truly, like she's amazing, right? And incredibly impressive.
In spite of all my crap. Yeah.
Maybe, right? But also maybe a little bit thanks to the realization of, ooh, I want to course correct.
Sure.
And it's amazing how our kids let us do that, right? Our kids are pretty gracious with us, and we can make mistakes. And once they see that we really want to course correct, they'll let us do it. But I think, it's one of those deals where one of the greatest blessings that we ever have is having to confront the stuff that we've been carrying around.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that you and I did when we kind of first started hanging out, or not first started, but after a while, it was an exercise you had done, right? And you encouraged me to do it, and it was making the list of the lies. Tell me a little bit. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, I think that was I had a coach who helped me with that, just to identify what were kind of the tapes that run in the background at all times. You tell yourself that, whatever the coping mechanism was that you grew up, doing to get through that challenge, whether you're 8 years old, 12 years old, and you just continue to keep playing that card the rest of your life.
You just believe it. You hear it over and over again.
Yeah. Until you go, oh, actually, that's not true at all. But I've just told myself this, and so you identify those and just listen intently with what you've created for yourself. It's that torment between. It's always that gap between the hopes and goals, dreams that you have for yourself, and then what you tell yourself on the inside. That's where anxiety, torment, just everything, depression, it all lives in that gap.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, I think at least for me too, because I think what it is you have those hopes and dreams and aspirations for yourself and your family. And for me, the tapes that played on repeat, the lies were basically all centered around why I won't ever be able to reach those goals, why I don't deserve to reach those goals, right? It's all of the reasons why that's someone else's life, right?
Sure.
And Abby brings this up a lot. When I really hit the beginning of my lowest point, I had just completed, I'd probably been 2 weeks, 3 weeks done completing my list of lies and was working my way through the truths.
Yeah.
Right. That contradict those lies.
Yeah. What you wanted to create.
Right. And Abby, being as gracious as she is, she was like, that wasn't an accident, numbskull. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't hit this ridiculously hard time when you're halfway through your list of truths. You did that because there's an enemy and he's real and he saw where you were going. I didn't hear that for a long time, but as we, she was like, hey man, it's going to be okay. Like, just, and as I came out of that, I was like, whoa, those truths are really true. At my very worst, the truths that contradict those lies I've been telling myself are really true. And it's like, you've gotta accept the things, the truth that God says is true. It's true because he says it's true. You don't have to question it. You don't have to question, why do I deserve this, or why? No. It's because the Savior says, I said so. So just take it and enjoy it, and now go do what I need you to do with it.
Yeah, it's realizing. It really is realizing who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who you are, and what there's a very simple simple church primary song, like that is, I am a child of God. And it's so simple, it's so profound.
Right.
You know, and he has sent me here, has given me an earthly home with parents kind and dear. And it just goes on. There's 3 or 4 verses. It's beautiful. We sing it as a family all the time. But it's just such a profound truth that if we really knew that we are sons and daughters of God here in the flesh, experiencing this.
Yeah.
How would we treat each other? How would we treat ourselves? How would we think different? How would we, everything about life?
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, it's coming to that realization.
Yeah.
Because the adversary very much does not want us to realize that.
No, not at all.
It's a whole lot easier to keep us confused, trapped, and, just dizzy in our own BS, because then you can't help anybody else.
Yeah. Well, and it's so much easier. Like I got wrapped up in training. I got wrapped up in my preps. I got wrapped up in all of these things that I was using them as a distraction.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I had to walk through the whole road, and now it's like, oh no. They're all a benefit they're secondary to, yes, you're a child of God, and everyone that you're interacting with also is. Right. So are you pouring into them like they're a child of God?
Right.
And I was blinded to that because I was so wrapped up in all of these, in this false sort of relentless warrior, right? This false sort of, apex training, blah, 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 versus, no, that's who I am.
Yeah.
There's a purpose to that being who I am. And that can take that can take a back seat to, but why the person I'm sitting with, why the person who I'm interacting with today, why am I interacting with them?
Yeah.
And being open to seeing that and pouring into them,
It's that dichotomy that you talk about that is like my favorite thing to discuss about leadership, and especially about the Savior, right? And I always point to him because he is the more we learn about him, the he just gets bigger and more profound and more incredible.
Yeah.
Then I think about him, but the Lion and the Lamb, all humility yet all powerful. And he's everything. He's the beginning and the end, like the opposites. And he has this perfect balance of all of these qualities that would seemingly be in opposition.
Yeah.
But it's just
big time.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
And when you do have a leader who is, for me, big, strong, yet is also tender, and attentive, and it's like, oh, cool. Cool. You have all of it to be able to then cuddle a baby, yet protect that baby with your life.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out next.
Yeah.
How to have all that.
How to have the blend.
Yep.
All right. So all right. You brought us there.
Yeah.
We talked about Mimi. And we talked about cuddling a baby, right? So just give a quick little how many kids you have, stuff like that. Cool. But then I want to hear what I really want to hear about.
Yeah,
is what is your idea of legacy?
Okay,
with your kids.
Oof. Okay,
and how are you working towards that?
Right. Okay, cool. My wife and I we've been married over 25 years.
Okay,
and so together we have 10 kids,
Awesome.
We did not start out.
I love making you say it out loud.
Not start
so
out.
Great.
Thinking we were going to have 10 kids.
Yeah, right.
I come from 4. She comes from 4. We figured, 4 or 5, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And so, yeah, we had 5, and Jessica has lupus. And so on the 5th, it was Wesley, who Wyatt's friend. I think that's how we got to know each other, because our sons, Wyatt,
yeah, they were together on that team.
Yeah, they were friends.
Right, yeah.
So, so Wes was there. He was a little kid growing up, and we'd kneel down for family prayer, or we'd get in the van, and I'm looking around. I just felt like, man, are we all here? It just didn't feel right. So I ended up we just felt like, man, there's more law babies somewhere. I knew my wife couldn't have any more, so I'd been feeling this a lot. And I did not want to bring it up because she'd be like, "Fine, let's do it. Whatever happens."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, we're not doing that."
Jessica's a little bit of a Northie.
She very shoot. Yeah. Aim. What is it? Yeah, she is an aim, fire, shoot, fire, aim.
Yeah, ready, shoot, ready, fire, aim.
Ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's very much that way. Yeah. Ready, fire, aim.
She's my favorite person to sit beside at a game.
Yeah. She'll get fired up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She'll get fired up. That's why I have to learn how to defend myself to her.
Yep.
Mostly her.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, she gets, so yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I changed it.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it ended up that we found there's another way. It was surrogacy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of our pizza.
Yep.
Somebody else's oven.
Uh-huh.
And so we harvested embryos,
cool.
and yeah, we got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And we got 6. And so we're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so we transferred 2 and got a surrogate, and we got Red, 1.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, we have these other ones. He kind of needs a buddy.
Yeah, right.
So we thought we'd just get 1. We transferred 2, and we got Birdie and Andy.
Got 2.
Yeah. So they're about a year apart.
Yeah, right.
We had 3 under 1 years old.
Oh, yeah.
About,
3 under 1 years old.
Just about.
And how old was Mimi when they were born?
Let's see.
Andy and Birdie were
what would
born.
she be? Ooh, she would have been 17, 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yep. And so then we had these 2 embryos. And so it was a lot, man. To have those 3, that was a lot. And we just didn't want to think about that we had these other embryos just sitting there. And so finally we just reached a point where it's like, okay, we can't just thaw them out. And so so we said, well, we'll find a surrogate and we'll leave it in God's hands, and what happens happens.
Yep.
They were the least viable, poorest rated.
Gotcha.
They'd been frozen 7, 8 years. And so sure enough, I told her as soon as it transferred, I said, they're coming.
Both of them.
Just so you know, like they're coming. And Jess was like, oh yeah, not thinking, she didn't want to get attached. And the day that we got confirmation of pregnancy, she got shingles from the stress. Gosh. And so
that day,
that evening,
wow,
she got it. Boom.
Wow.
She was sick. Shingles. So
it's a daunting.
Those babies are a young man's game for sure. So they're about a year old now. They're a year old. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So so you got 10 kids.
10 kids,
right? And
legacy.
Is it 5 and 5?
5 and 5.
Yep. Awesome. So 5 boys, 5 girls, and you've got this responsibility.
Yeah.
You're the father of 10. You lead this family now. So when you think about the legacy, because we've definitely hit middle age, right?
Right.
If I live to be 92, I'll be great. I'll take it. Right. But I'm definitely at that halfway point, and I only have 2.
Yeah.
But a lot of what I think about is what are those 2?
Right.
What am I giving them for when I'm not here?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And who are they going to be? So with 10 and the family that you have and things like that, what do you think about when you think about, okay, building legacy through my family? Like, what does that look like?
Man, so I had a friend who talked about legacy. He died at a young age. He was 50.
Oh, wow.
And he had 6 kids as well, and lots of kids. And I remember him saying before he passed away suddenly, he just said, if you get lucky, you'll have influence over 3, maybe 4 generations in some way. And he's like, that's just what it is. So that's what you try to do. If you could do something to have influence over 3 generations down from you, then you're doing something right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Where they appreciate, they live up to the name, or, the values you hold, or whatever it is that you want there. And so, that's something that I've thought a lot about from family traditions standpoint, to them going, okay, what do I want to leave behind? What do I want to be known as? But more, it's like, do I want them to remember me? Yeah, that'd be nice.
Sure.
Oh yeah, Grandpa Scott, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Or do I want them to uphold the values that I strive to have, and which are those of the Savior?
Right.
That's the ultimate. So if I could get my kids to raise their kids in a way where they have a strong testimony of Jesus Christ, and because I think, and we talk about it all the time, I think the world is only getting uglier.
Oh yeah.
And I think people will be more and more persecuted for their belief in Christ.
Oh yeah.
And for upholding truth and eternal truths and values. I think it's just, man, the world's compass is going crazy. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be more and more difficult to be a Christian.
Oh, I agree.
And so how can I prepare my kids to stand up for what is right and take the consequences?
Oh, I love it. So I think I want to circle back. So remind me, I want to circle back to a practical way that you implemented to help that. Right.
Okay.
But I'm reminded, I just spent, kind of a weekend, my wife's best friend from high school.
Yeah.
Her husband is unequivocally the most liberal person that I can have a conversation with. Right. He is as far to the left as I am to the right, easily, probably further.
Got it.
And they came in town, and we during election season, we play a game of just trading remarkably mean insults back and forth via text message and stuff.
Okay.
Right. He's from Ireland.
Great.
And it's great. It's a great, it's a great dynamic. Right.
Yeah.
But and honestly, I think probably at some point he will be sitting there and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah.
But we had a conversation about he'll tell you he's an atheist. And we had a conversation and I was kind of, tell me why, he's got a beautiful little baby girl. And she's 3 years old and she's a genius. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so tell me about that. As she's running around playing on the floor and stuff like that. Cause I kind of knew where I was going. And he made a long list of all of the reasons that he didn't believe in God.
Okay.
Without exception, every item on his list had to do with the way humans who profess to follow Christ behaved.
Right.
Either to him, towards him, or towards others, or whatever. It was all the failings of Christians versus the idea or his resistance to the idea of Christ. And I just said, I asked him, I said, just do me a favor. I said, I'm the worst example of someone to look at and go, oh, well, look at the way that guy lives his life. There must be something to this Christianity thing, right? I said, just do me a favor and try to not hold the failings of humans against God.
Right.
And it was kind of a little moment,
Yep.
He's like, no, I get it. He's like, but because a lot of it was the church hurt or whatever, but I think about that from the standpoint of legacy and all of the ways that I've failed throughout my life, pouring into my boys in a way that they could maybe maybe it's the wrong word. They could help mend the false perception of Christ that we fallen humans have painted for him.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I think that's been a focus for me. I'm a pretty real guy. I'm very direct, and I pretty much just sort of say it the way I see it. Yeah. But as I've looked at my interactions, I've tried to say, okay, Christians mess up all the time.
Yeah.
In the name of Christ.
Yep.
They discriminate. We discriminate. Yep. We have prejudice. We have all of these things that we say, well, in the name of Jesus, we hold on to all of these negative attitudes and things like that. That does a lot of damage. Yeah. I think it's one of the greatest ploys of the adversary is to use Christians to do the damage. Yeah. And I think for me, the idea of legacy is partially, at least, can we reverse that in somebody's mind, one person's mind? Can we live in a way? Can we continue and we're gonna mess up a million times for every day we get it right, probably, right?
Yeah.
But can we live in a way that, in the eyes of that one person who has held all of the mistakes of fallen Christians against Christ, can we live in a way that maybe opens the door for them to go, wait a minute, maybe there's something to Jesus that's bigger than folks who just wear his name on a t-shirt,
right?
You know,
pray so.
So so I've really been looking at that in a new lens. And so to circle back to a practical way that you've implemented the idea of legacy, tell me about your New Year's Day. I call it New Year's Day because I think you did it on January 1st this year.
Okay.
Tell me about your family meeting, your kickoff. Was it New Year's Day? Your family meeting?
Yeah, what was it? Around there.
It was around there, right?
Where we get a time.
Yeah,
just to identify, what are the qualities of, that we want to uphold and stand for. What are those things?
Right.
That who are we as a family?
So that was 10 kids.
Yeah.
Plus Sam, so 11. You and Jess, 12, 13.
Yep.
Who else? Carla there?
No, this was just our nuclear family.
It's a pretty large group.
Big group. Yeah.
How do you facilitate that conversation?
Yeah.
Especially when obviously the infants are they're just chilling, right? But you got Andy and Bertie, right? Part of that conversation, all the way up to Mimi and you and Jess. How do you facilitate a conversation like that with that wide group of hey guys, who are we? Who do we want to be? And how do we want to work to get there?
Yeah. I mean, I have amazing kids. My son-in-law is just amazing.
Yeah, awesome guy.
Yeah. Not an easy job to be the first in-law in the family. He's just awesome.
Yeah.
But it was very much that where I did my best to not make it about Scott or Jessica.
Sure.
It can't be that. But what do we want to uphold as a family and support one another in? And what are our values that we believe and our Christ-like values and attributes that we most admire that define who we are? And everyone brought their flavor, as we were talking about. Like Jessica's was fun,
Yeah.
Like we have fun together, and then and then there's the discipline side where it's like, no, we work. It's just on that, and to all the way around of empathy from Katie, who's so much that way.
Yeah.
And Mimi, who's planful and very much like structure.
Yeah.
Wants to have all that. And so it was so great to see all these pieces. And then my son, Luke, he's serving a mission in Fiji. We got all these typed out and then we're like, okay, buddy, like edit these or add to them. What do you think? He came away with just some other awesome ones.
Yeah.
So we just have this list and to refer to and to be like, this is it. And then try and point them out in other people as you see them.
Yeah. That to me is the meat of it.
Yeah.
Not just we've made this list and we know it in the back of our mind, and not even that we're going to try to live them out, because obviously we are. When we see them in somebody else, let's point them out.
Right.
Like that's huge.
We call it awesomeness.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That's our thing. It's like, no, we shout out awesomeness at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody have awesomeness to give? And whether that's like shouting out that quality or just thanking someone for what they did for you, to recognize that. And that was one of the things that I needed to turn about my life. Man, I'm so good at picking out details of things, but I always use them for everything that was wrong or broken.
Oh, wow.
Not right. So anything, I'm an orthodontist by trade. So I'm looking for half a millimeter of
imperfection,
of tooth, that's in the wrong way or space or whatever it is. So I'm looking at every little thing. So you could just nitpick, with the best of them, and instead go, oh no, how can I use these, this gift of perception to be like, oh no, I can look and see what changed in the positive, or someone really working hard, or what's something that's really, really, a benefit or something different where there's growth.
Yeah.
And recognize that and bring people along versus destroy them with.
Sure.
You didn't do this, that. Well, how come?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that's huge, man.
Yeah.
So, anecdotal, funny story.
Yep.
You're an orthodontist and a bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So
Recovering.
There we go. Got it.
Yeah.
Recovering perfectionist.
Yeah.
CJ's a perfectionist and trying to help him.
It's actually
walk through that.
You're not a perfectionist. You're an imperfectionist because you only see what's imperfect.
Absolutely. Oh, it's funny that CJ's sitting right there and heard that because you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and so it'll totally just tear you,
make you go crazy.
It'll just tear you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's a thing that I try to think about. Okay, how do I help my kid through that? Right. I don't want him to be anxious, stuff like that. Yeah. But the funny piece is, I got something for you later, CJ. I love when you talk about seeing people's teeth. Yeah. And how they could be straight and squared away and all these things. We lived in I don't remember which house it was. I think it was a little mobile home. Yeah. When my braces came off. Sure. And we didn't do the permanent retainers or anything like that. Yeah. So I had these 2 retainers, right? And I think I ate one in my sleep is all I can think of, right? My top retainer, I had it. Bottom retainer just disappeared. Yeah. Right? And a year later, something, right? Yeah. A year later, my bottom teeth were exactly the way they were on day 1 of getting braces, right? Yeah, yeah. And so it always cracks me up when you talk teeth, which is relatively rare. Yeah. I'm always like, man, I just got it's really. I know my teeth, but it just cracks me up. Yeah. But when that story has to do with nothing. But when I think about it, from the idea of we're going, you only get so many opportunities. Yeah. To influence. Yep. You're always going to influence. Oh yeah. Every interaction you're going to influence people. Mm-hmm. And we were doing a training with Clay. And again, I'm not going to tell somebody else's story for them, but in that training, one of our friends told a story about something that happened to him graduation night. Right. And it just blew everyone's mind. Right. That he told that story. And I don't even think we were doing it. We were doing a physical combatives training, but he told a story. And I think the influence that he had just from the way he told that story, he had a big smile on his face. And he was like, yeah, this happened to me. And it just stopped the whole room. The whole room was like, wow. Dude. And then listen to him tell the story about what would traumatize some people irreparably, to hear him tell that story. Yeah. And then to the way he's processed it and is healthy about it and is just, and was willing to share it and all of those things had such a profound influence. Yeah. And it's something that I think a lot of people would hide that story or I don't want to tell that story, whatever. Well, man, it made that training real. Oh, it did. In such a great way. Right. And he had told me that story once before in very similar way. Yeah. And I was like, man, that guy, he can process adversity in a great way. Right, and because of that one interaction, there's a level of influence now that he has with me when we interact that I'm like, man, this dude can process adversity. Yeah. And there's something to learn from that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I think that's the other thing I think of is valuing the interactions we get with people. I agree. Oh, I agree, man. Oh yeah. I never want to miss an opportunity, and I've really vowed never want to miss an opportunity to tell somebody who they are from me. Oh, dude. I think it's just life's too short where, if I feel pricked in my heart to be like, oh, they're vulnerable, or I sense like, okay, there are no coincidences in life. Mm-hmm. They need to hear from me that I love them, who they are, what potential I see in them, whatever, and just to be that way. Like whether that's my kids, because man, you see them every day, and you take it for granted when they leave, and then it's like, oh, my influence on them it's from a distance now. Yeah, right. Yeah, and then they're gonna get their own kids, and you get your shot. But I don't take that for granted. But along the same lines for that training, like that opened my eyes big time. I think we were doing knives at time, blades, and man, because he was in a safe environment. Yeah, safe. Yeah, like there was no knives or guns allowed. Right. Yeah. Right. Where he was, and
just thought it was pretty chill, pretty easy, and all of a sudden got hit. And then I was listening a few years ago that it's something like 3 or 4% of the population is psychopath. Like that, and you hear cops talk about it all the time.
Right.
And I don't want to live with that level of regret. Or if I'm like, oh, I could prepare myself, and I could be prepared to protect my family, those around me that I love and care about. And so I'll be ready.
Absolutely.
I'll just be ready.
Yeah.
And pray it never happens.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to inflict pain, hurt on somebody else, but I certainly will not allow it.
Yeah. Oh, well, so one of my mantras, I do it in the trainings that I do. My kids have heard me say it a million times. It's better to have it and not need it, and need it and not have it.
Right.
And I love that we've come full circle, because I think, again, for me, I hid in the identity of, being able to defend myself and my family, however that looked. I hid in that sort of false tough guy identity for a very, very long time.
Right.
Working through dismantling that and being open to and looking for ways to love others and pour into others and those types of things. I've said it already once, and I don't mean to be like gushy or whatever, but you're a huge reason for my work towards doing that.
Good.
Because in many ways, your willingness to do that played a huge role in saving my family. So thanks.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I received that fully, brother.
Sure.
Thank you.
So to go full circle and have this conversation about being open to and loving others and seeing those, that never taking an interaction for granted, but also head on a swivel,
right?
Protect, my beautiful wife and kids who are walking beside me as we leave the movie theater or whatever it is, thinking through that mentality.
Yeah. You mentioned your beautiful wife, like your wife. Through this is, I have so much admiration for her faith and commitment and just dogged determination to be, just to be your companion, to be by your side through highs and lows, the lowest of lows for you guys. She is just amazing. She's amazing. We talked about that, I think, almost every day for,
we did.
Just to, during those points.
Yeah. One of, if not the strongest person I know.
Right. I feel the same about my wife. Best decision I ever made, ever.
Oh gosh. So, it was funny. Abby didn't know. I said, I'm so far over my skis with you. And she was like, she didn't grow up skiing. And she was like, is that good? Like, what is that? I mean, I said this a week ago. And I was like, I'm so far over my skis.
Outpunted my coverage.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, babe, I outpunted my coverage. I was like, I kicked the ball. You're just out of my league. She was like, oh, okay.
Okay, got it.
But right. It took a minute. But absolutely one of, if not the strongest person I know.
For sure.
And has embraced the idea that who I am, a large part of who I am is that head on a swivel, protect my family, plan for the possible negative outcomes in the future kind of a guy. And in that, I don't want to fall into a pessimist. I don't want to fall into angry or suspicious of everyone I see and all of those things.
Nope.
And so she has really embraced this idea of affirming that in me. And then also who she is that I see the very best in everybody.
Right.
The 3% of the population that are psychopaths could come up to her and she's going to say, why don't you come in for dinner?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay. And so she's like, okay, I realized there was a plan here for the two of us. Right.
Sure.
And so part of and I wanted to get here. There's 3% of the population that's psychopath. Or that just no empathy, no nothing.
Yep.
But then there's the part of the population that, whether it's due to extreme trauma, and we talked about this when I left education and all this thing, whether it's due to extreme trauma, whether it is anything, life circumstances. Yep. They didn't respond well to life circumstances. And so when you mentioned it, to whom much is given, much is required, right? Tell me about brotherhood.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I've been overly blessed in my life, and I recognize that. And I think we hear a lot of times about, we have a problem. I think the right approaches it one way, the left approaches it one way. Where the right's like, hey, pick yourself up by your own bootstraps.
Yeah, right.
And the left is like, hey, we should take everybody else's money and fix the problem.
Right.
And so I'm being extreme on both sides, but it's like that. And yet we still have these boys and these girls who have nothing. And didn't choose to be born into these situations, choose to be dealt this hand.
Yeah.
Right. And so I made promises at the side of my bed on my knees when I applied to dental school.
Okay.
3 times.
Wow.
And didn't get in.
Okay.
And I promised that if I was blessed, I'm gonna get emotional, but if I was blessed with the means, that I would use them for good, and that I could be trusted with those.
Yeah.
And I remember I reached a point where I was quite comfortable, and I heard the knock on my heart to be like, okay,
yeah,
this you've wondered about this, and I'd been in connection with someone from years ago who had worked CASA and worked with kids and a lot of help.
Yeah.
He needed a lot of help, and I didn't want to hear about it. I just didn't want to know. I would rather have it be somebody else's problem. To handle. Yeah. And I just knew this was something that I needed to do something about it.
Yeah.
So rather than wait and point fingers at who should handle the problem, I thought, well, I can at least make a difference where I can make a difference.
Yeah.
And so we started the Brotherhood Academy.
Yeah.
And it's a children's home here in Salado. And with kids who come from all sorts of backgrounds who do need some extra help and some extra, some people, some adults to love them, to believe in them, and to help them.
Yeah.
Because we were all 10, 11, 12, 14, 17, years old, in need of someone to be in our corner with us and to help and to lift us up and to point the way and show us possibility for our life. And so that's what we're trying to do here. It's a 501c3.
Yeah. Awesome.
And right now we have 12 boys.
Awesome.
And so we're trying to make a difference with them and get this going. And then the goal is to take that and to be able to scale it in the same way that we've done orthodontic offices.
Oh my gosh.
And help as many as we can.
Yeah.
And really take these guys and go and help them to become leaders.
Yeah.
Help them become, future husbands and fathers and
hopefully one day
contributing members in their community.
Right. Hopefully one day they're sitting at 45 years old.
Right.
And they're able to look back at the hard times they went through at 12 and 15 and 17 and go, man, those were blessings.
Yeah. Right.
The things that I was able to learn and grow from, even though it was hard, those were blessings. And now I'm able to pour into the lives of others because of it.
Right.
It's that
pay it forward.
It's so awesome.
That's a legacy that I would love more than anything to have that be the legacy, right?
Oh yeah.
Would that be amazing?
Oh man.
Just to have them go and bring their families back and show us the life that they've made. They've broken the chain.
Yep.
Of what's going on.
Oh, man.
But it is incredible to see these boys in this situation. All over I hear about it. They just want family.
Oh,
they just want brotherhood. They
absolutely
just want a connection that way. They want. We were young men.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
You want to improve so bad, but deep down, you just want you yearn for that belonging, connection.
Oh,
and you lash out, you make dumb decisions, and you do all the stuff just like we all did, and all young boys do. But it's like, no, you can become this. This is follow this path.
everyone wants to be invited to the table.
Right.
Everyone wants to be told they have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And man, it's interesting. Abby obviously works for Salado ISD.
Yeah.
Like everybody who lives in Salado, you say, like, what do you like about Salado? And the schools are one of the 2 or 3 things that you first mentioned, right?
Sure.
And I was 17 years in education. I worked at one of the wealthiest schools in Texas and a couple of the poorest, and the whole gambit. And I've been able to see firsthand the community of Salado, yes, and absolutely the community of Salado ISD is so blessed to have the boys from Brotherhood Academy as a part of that community. And I think every time someone else sees that and learns that, we get so much stronger as a community. Every time someone's, we all have bias. We all have these preconceived ideas. And every time someone is able to say, oh, wait a minute, we're a whole lot better because of the presence of these boys. So let's pour into them so they can be the strongest and that they can be. And we're going to get better and better and better. Every time, one person at a time sees that and learns that. To me, that's those unintended ripple effects.
Right.
Whereas, you guys you're focused on pouring into the lives of these boys and helping them walk these crucial years.
Yeah.
And I think that some of those unintended ripple effects are, over the course of time, the positive impact that we will be able to see throughout Salado at large. And then as you scale it wherever they go, that's, I mean, you can't even imagine. Like, I can't imagine how big that could be.
I know. Well, you're a coach, you get it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that's one of the reasons why I love Salado youth football too.
Yeah, right.
Just what it is. It's just these little guys that are they're scared in the same way. They don't know what they can, what they can accomplish, and get them to do hard things. It's hard to put on pads. Hit.
Absolutely.
I've never done it. I know. I was a kid. I was a kid who was crying behind my face mask in 9th grade, like my first year playing.
Yeah.
I did not have a good experience.
Right.
And I did not like it. It did not come easy in the way that most football coaches, it does come easy. And so they love to coach.
Right.
I was the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I love coaching now, is I'm like, hey, I was the scared kid who didn't want to be out there, but wanted to be out there.
Oh, yeah.
But didn't know who he was.
Yep.
And I love meeting that kid.
Oh, yeah.
And going, here we go.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Here's how it is.
One of my favorites from Salado youth football was that kid.
Yeah.
And just, you said it exactly right. So much didn't want to be out there.
Right.
And just as much wanted to be out there.
Yep.
And finding ways to, that's the thing, is that it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter your advantages or disadvantages.
Right.
There are certain things in life that are hard for everybody.
Right.
And everybody needs somebody to walk through them and put their arm around them and walk with them through it. And again, just finding ways to do that. I think, to tie it kind of all back to the general topic that I usually talk about, those young men and finding those opportunities to pour into people that way helps us. If the lights ever do go out, if everything falls apart at a flip of a switch, those are the investments, I think, that will pay off the most. Right. Those are the investments where there will be a community of people who can look out for each other. Mm-hmm. Sure, it'd be great if they all had their 2 years worth of food and their whatever and their skills, right?
Yeah.
Those are important, but it's that pouring into people and helping people be the best version of themselves and us be the best version of ourselves that I think help us survive that storm.
I agree.
Should it come.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So, well, brother, there was a reason this was the one that I was looking forward to. I very, very much appreciate just you sitting down and being willing to talk about whatever.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you. Appreciate your vulnerability, your leadership on this, and helping, certainly helping me. I begged you. I had begged you. I think that was one of the first conversations we had.
Yeah.
When we started lifting, was to be like, okay, so we kind of felt things out just a little bit, but then it was like, okay, what are your goals and dreams for yourself? What do you want?
Sure.
And so I'm so glad that you're doing this, because you're so skilled at it, and the way you connect with people.
Thanks.
Breaking down concepts to be so easy, practical stuff to get people where whether it's a hobby on self-defense and preparation, and with firearms, with blades, with on the ground, stand up, whatever it is. Just to be able to share that with people in your experience. Yeah, you're a good man.
Thank you, brother.
Love you.
I love you too. I'll take that. You saying I'm a good man, I'll take that every time.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Yep.